Hi guys, welcome to today's session of the Rjay Speaks channel, and today I'm going to be talking about my own experience to school application. So that's a popular request to talk about application to Youngstown State. So this is not an application process you can apply to every other school you're applying to, but specifically Youngstown State University, which is my current school. So you have to bear with me because my eyes will be going from you to here sometimes and to here sometimes because I have my screens here. So bear with me. I have to be referring to some detailed information for you to make this video better. So thank you for agreeing to that. Then also, if you're a first timer, you know what you have to do. Click now to subscribe and be part of the notification list anytime I load a new video. So welcome to the Rjay Speaks session today. So to get the ball rolling, what do you have to know when you're applying to Youngstown State University? As I said, this is a customized one. So for me, I outlined some things you ought to know or summarized the application process in one video. So one, I think you should know yourself. So wait. By knowing yourself, I want you to have a reflective moment. What course do you want to offer, and what career you want to take, or what path you want to take, and make sure Youngstown can offer you that. I know I hear stuff like people saying, okay, they don't care about what kind of course they want to offer, as long as it's abroad or as long as it's the United States. I mean, who cares? We all hold different opinions, but to me, if you want to listen to me, or if you want to take your career or your future or your long-term goals into consideration, you should have this reflective moment and know what you want to be, and can Youngstown help you get to where you want to get to. So that is the point one, or the first step for you in school application. Two, so having done that, what is the next thing you should do? So now that you know the course you want to take, you now go to the Youngstown State University website and find out if there's a course that matches what you want to offer. So I'm going to drop the link in the comment section or in the description below, so that you just click on the link and check the programs that Youngstown State offers. So stay tuned for the link down there. Then once you've done that, yes, the next thing you have to know is that this program offers funding, because you can do a random application and there might be no funding. So me being in this school, I have information for you and I want to tell you about courses that have funding. So this is a very subjective video. It's just my own personal thing. It doesn't mean other courses may not give you funding, but I'm just telling you about the courses I have seen here with my 1 year experience in some months to have been popularly known to have full funding, if there's any word like that. Yeah, so to start, first, one of the courses with the full funding is Msc Mathematics, that has applied, like, degree options in applied statistics. I know a lot of people, it scares a lot of people, even for myself. When I first saw Msc Mathematics, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, is this pure math? But it's different in Youngstown. Even though you see Msc Mathematics, we have degree options for statistics, and we have degree options for applied math. We have degree options for secondary education, computer science, and even actual science. I mean, I'm just being biased because the actual science degree option. Yes, so that courses, or those courses I just mentioned, have good funding for math. Then you can have masters. We have certificate programs which I don't think have funding. We have online programs which I don't think may have as much funding as the campus courses. Then you can have MSc Environmental Science, which I know for international students, for international students have some kind of funding. We have like masters in education programs also have funding, so if that's the courses you want to take. And for the engineering sector, maybe civil engineering, environmental engineering, electrical engineering, chemical engineering, we've had a lot of international students or Africans to be specific, applying to those courses with funding. So for undergrad application, I know if your SAT scores are really good, you have some sort of funding, but trust me, it's not a full funding. It's partial and very partial, which means you have to be paying most of the fees, which you may not be ready to pay. So I'm doing this video thinking that if you've already done your bachelor's and you want to take your master's, then this is the video for you. But if you want to pay the fees yourself too, good, then be quick to apply. I mean, you can even apply now. So having done that, for Youngstown State University, in school application, for most schools, you can finish up with the whole application process and later pay the application fees. That can be the last thing you're doing. But for Youngstown, no, you have to pay the application fees to proceed. So the only part you can do without paying the application fee or prior paying the application fee is filling out your name, like your street address, the country of origin, your citizenship, all that kind of information. You do it when you can do that when you've not paid your application fees. I hope that is very clear. So don't say, okay, I just filled out some forms and I've not paid the application fees, but I was able to fill some forms. No, that part is not actually the main part of the application. But you do that part, then after you are done, there's a part that you have to pay application fee. And after paying the application fee, you now go to your YSU portal, which is the Penguins portal, to do the main application. So the first part is setting up your Penguins portal, which is the first stage, which you can do without paying application fee. And for your information, the application fees is $90. So you should have that equivalent in your currency, or maybe if you have a dollar account, fine, but in your currency, check there, make sure you have that amount of money on your card or anywhere you're paying from, $90. And after paying that, that's when you can proceed with the whole application process. So having done that, the next thing you want to do is to have your college transcript ready. So by college transcript, I'm sure most of you know that already. So maybe you did your undergrad, like in my bachelor's. For instance, let me use myself since this is a customized application process for me. My bachelor's degree from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Ghana, specifically in Kumasi. So shout out to any tech guys out there, or guys, both girls and boys, so that's cool. So tech guys out there, and you requested from your department. I know you all know it's different from each school, so and each department. So you request that. And for YSU, by YSU, maybe I'll be using YSU often because I'm here, but it actually means Youngstown State University. So for YSU, we allow unofficial transcript at the beginning. So when you're applying, you can get a transcript from your school, try and convert it to the PDF format, like you can save it in your mail or anything, and submit that. So it is only after you've received admission and you're ready to proceed, that's when you do the official transcript. So don't feel like, oh, you just submitted this transcript to your portal, but it's still indicating that official, it was unofficial, and official has not been submitted. So don't freak out if you see that in your application checklist. You're fine, you're good. And even with that, you can actually wait till when you get here and submit the official one directly to the office. So I hope that point is cool. First, you just have to get an unofficial transcript. So having done that, the next thing you need to do is to get your 4 essays. So for me, specifically for the master's in mathematics, or even all other departments, there's some 4 essays we write in Youngstown. Not essay, but submit 4 different files. And for Youngstown, I'd say it might not be necessary at the beginning to message any professor about you applying. At the beginning, I mean, you don't need to tell any professor that, okay, I'm applying to Youngstown State University and this is my research process. With experience, I think at the beginning it's not necessary. Not necessary. At the beginning, you can do it, but it's not necessary. And you're actually going to find our graduate coordinators email on the site as well, in the link provided below, so you may not need to do that. So the 4S is actually spans through your statement of purpose, one, then your employment history, so what kind of work have you been doing so far, then your school history, so what schools have you been attending from high schools, or for instance, if Rjay Speaks is the name of your school, so Rjay Speaks, then the next line maybe from 2013 to 2017, then the next line maybe I was a general science student, then the certificate received, so I have the school, the year, that certificate received, like what course I offered. I do that for each school I've attended after high school. I don't know if that works for you. So you do that kind of transitioning or that kind of outline for every school you've attended. Then you have your employment history, what kind of works you've done. Then the last part, which is more involving, is the graduate assistantship, where you have to let us, did I say ours? I mean, let the department know why you need to be offered the funding. So for that, I can say you can include your merit, qualification. Maybe you can tell us that, okay, so when I was in my school, I was best student for high school, I was best student for this, I was doing that, I was general secretary for maybe the math club or the engineering club or the education club. Just say anything. I mean, like, just hype yourself. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah, so do all that. And you can also include the financial reasons. So maybe let them know that in any kind of country you're applying from, you know, it may not be so easy paying that much, maybe $20,000. You might not be able to raise that, but don't make it sound so sad and so pathetic, guys. Like, I mean, like, don't make it sound like a raising funds for charity. I'm just joking. But you can include both merit and financial need together in your graduate assistantship. Why you think you deserve the assistantship? Because there's so many people applying, and so why you, let us know. And for the statements of purpose as well, I just want to highlight what should be in that. I know a lot of people, or some people might want to say, oh, send me a statement of purpose. Why am I going wrong with some words today? Sorry. So send me, you can ask people who have done it before for statements of purpose, but don't copy the same thing. I mean, especially when you're coming to the same school as the person. You don't want trouble. So statement of purpose should be more personalized. So I would advise trying to draft something yourself. What should go in there is where you are right now, so, or where you started from. I think let's do it that way. So where you started from. So for me, let me just tell you about mine. For me, I started my story from high school. So in high school, how I got to choose the course in high school, I actually did science. I'm a lover of science. So high school, how I started, I was a science major, integrated science student. I wanted to be a medical doctor, right? But I'm sure if you've watched me failing medical school twice, if you watched that video, you get to know that I actually ended up with an actuarial science class for my undergrad studies, thanks to God. Yeah, so go watch that if you've not watched it. So I speak about that and how I transitioned from a science student to a math person and what I wanted to become. So I highlighted about the whole actuarial science thing, how I got in there and where I want to get to. So don't miss all the steps. You start from where you started, what gave you the passion to do what you studied for your undergrad studies. For some people, unfortunately, you might have taken those courses without passion, and I'm sorry to hear that. But for others also who had loved what you did, what was your sense of purpose for choosing that course, right? So that's what statement of purpose means. For some school, they call it statement of interest. I mean, it's still the same thing or same requirement, but tell us how you started, what influences you, or what influenced you, what motivated you for the course you want to take. Then continue to tell us why you want to take the program. So for instance, if you want to take Msc Mathematics like I did, and tell them, okay, I started from high school and I was a science person. I went to uni. Fortunately, thanks to God, I didn't end up in the medical school, and I ended up with actuaries, and I think that's one of the best decisions I've ever made. One of the best, yeah, since I was born. I think the best is taking Jesus Christ as my Lord and my personal Savior. Yeah, I just had to chip that in. So, okay, so that, having said that, then what motivated me to take my master's in mathematics? You know, I love math. Looking at my old videos, you can see I like to relate my faith with math and every other thing. Then, what I intend doing with my master's. So, for me, okay, so I love to teach math. Cool. I want to take a career path in natural science later, sometime. Cool. You know, sometimes you can. It's not like a final death statement. So don't think that if you say you want to be a professor and take your PhD after, and what if your plans change? Can you write it? Yes, you can write it, because trust me, I started with wanting to be a math professor because I love teaching and I love to relate to math, but I keep finding myself. So don't be too hard on yourself on what you want to be. Just write what you think you feel right now. So as of when I even applied, I was more into the math, but now I'm more inclined towards the actual. You don't know, maybe next time I'll be the next journalist on BBC or CNN. I don't know. Maybe I might be a news, like an actual newscaster. I'm just joking. Or I might be serious as well. So don't be hard on yourself, but just tell us now what you intend doing with the master. So for instance, okay, you want to teach high school students after, okay, then after the master's, what are you going to do? So maybe you can also say, okay, I want to take a PhD in this course, maybe statistics after. I want to work in an industry after. So let us know before, now, after. That's what your statement of purpose, and that if they should give this program to you, you'd be so honored to do it. I hope that's clear. Just leave your comments in the comment section, or your questions in the comment section. So having done that, let me narrow to masters in mathematics. I mean, so for others, you can just use the same link to find out more details about the course. Some of the courses require that you should have done some courses for your undergrad. So maybe for math, you should have done maybe some differential equations. You should have done some linear algebra. You should have done some probability, like it depends. So just make sure you check all those boxes. Then the length of this whole program is 2 years for masters in my school for most programs, but for economics it's 1.5 years, so like 3 semesters, 1.5 years, but mostly it's 2 years. But even for the Msc Mathematics, even though it's 2 years, you can actually also do it in 1.5 years. It means you have to take more courses. Yeah. Then let me say that also for, you know, I came in spring, so for a spring student, you should know that you're not going to graduate in the usual graduation time, which is the summer, or like the spring, sorry, not the summer, but the spring. You don't graduate maybe around May, but you have to graduate in December. So if you don't want that for the 2 years, you have the option to graduate in the May for the next year. So for instance, I came in January 1st, 2021. I could have graduated in May 2022 or December 2022. So it's up to you. And it's one thing you should also know, that for spring students, the year that you come, you cannot take your internship, and that's the sacrifice you have to make. But you can take it the next year, because one requirement for internship is to have been qualified for a CPT, curriculum practical training. I hope I'm right. Yeah, and one requirement for that is that you should have done a whole year, like a whole academic year. You should have been here, or you should have studied for a whole academic year. I hope that is clear. So from January to December, I should have been done, but by summer that same year, I would have completed just 1 semester as a spring student, and that is why I cannot, or you may not be able to take your internship. So to sum it up, should I say, is it okay to apply in the spring or in the fall? So it depends on you. If you want to do it in the spring, you have to know that you can take internship that year. You have to wait for 1.5 years, like I did. to take your internship. And two, I would also say that spring students for this school, Youngstown State University, don't have so much funding. Even for us, it's as a result of COVID, and we had to defer to spring, but it's not like we initially intended to apply for spring. I hope that works and sits well with you. So for my own personal opinion as a current student here, I advise you to do the fall application. So then I go to the almost the latter part. When is it best to apply? And is GRE recommended? Yes. I know sometimes under the rules of COVID, sometimes it's waived, like GRE requirement is waived, and sometimes you see English proficiency certificates. So about that, you can request from your school. I didn't have to write TOEFL. I had to request from my school, which is the school I took my undergrad studies, to give me a proof. It's just one sheet indicating that you studied in English language. With that being said, you don't need to write TOEFL, so that would be waived for you. I hope that is clear. Then also for the GRE, if it's required or if it's being waived but you have it, I advise you to upload it if your scores are really good. But if your scores are not good, be on the safer side, don't. But if it's good, okay, so you may ask me what's good. So good, I don't know, will I be guilty about this? Okay, so good is relative, but anything 300 and above is really good, because fortunately, or so unfortunately, maybe I may not have that scores. I may not have gotten that scores. So anyway, but try to get good scores on your GRE. Good scores better than mine. Don't be like me. Yeah, be yourself, but be your better self. Get good scores for your GRE. Anything above 300 is good, but it does not mean if you get maybe 299, don't apply. I'm not saying that, but you just have to know yourself. And if GRE is required, do well to submit that information. And for math, for your information, it's required. For other places, I don't know. And I forgot to mention one other course, Masters of Science in Criminal Justice. That's also a course that I found out also have funding, so it's your own advantage. You don't need to have studied law to get full funding for that, because I know just one person who applied for criminal justice and got full funding, like all tuition waived and some form of stipend for that course. So you don't actually, I think he studied sociology for his undergrad and got that, or some course around social science and all. So for the social sciences, you might want to apply for that. That is one tip for you. Then yeah, lastly, I think one of the most, did I talk about GRE? Yeah, I did. So I'm done talking about GRE and I'm done talking about a TOEFL. Then having submitted everything, you need a recommendation from 3 lecturers or professors from your undergrad. So even before you apply, inform them about the school name, the course you want to apply for. So for instance, if you want to do Msc Mathematics, tell them, okay, so hello Professor Rjay, I want to apply for Msc Mathematics in Youngstown State University, and I want you to submit a recommendation for me. Don't go to a professor who might need a year before he can submit, because I've had friends who wrote names or submitted names of certain professors, and such professors did not submit the recommendation before the deadline, and it means application was incomplete, and you know the end result, they did not get any offer, no admission, no funding. So be sure about the professors you want to select for your application. You can write them down somewhere. Okay, Professor Rjay will be very timely and would submit it for me. Maybe Professor Ruby would do this. So be specific. Don't just randomly choose any professors that really know you, or talk to them first and establish that rapport. Luckily for me, by the grace of God, I have my professors submitting it less than a week after I told them. So I selectively choose such professors who are willing to help. Don't go where help is not. It should be a life lesson. don't go where help is not. Go where you ought to be. So just be selective about that, and let them give you a very good recommendation. You don't want to have your professor submitting, or a professor you have a wrong history with, submitting a recommendation on your behalf. Guys, please, no. You've already lost the admission or the funding to start with. So then, for a spring person, if you still want to apply for spring, then I think you should have finished your application, I think, around the summer. So for summer, I mean, maybe for people who are not in such time frame, for summer, I mean like between May and between August, you should have submitted everything, including recommendation, application fees, like every other requirement. But if you want to come in fall, so by fall, I mean August, then you should have been done applying. To me, I think by October. To me, I think latest by October. I know sometimes they cannot accept you till December. That is fine, but with my experience here, it's mostly first come, first serve. So as they get an application, they start reviewing. I think if they get the kind of people they want, your name, no, not your name, I want the best for you, so someone's name might not pop up. So as much as possible, start in August. You can write your GRE by August and get your statement of purpose done, your resume, I forgot to add that, your resume or your CV, well done. For me, when I was coming, I didn't have enough information, so my CV was almost like a book instead of a sheet or 2 pages. It was like a book, so a lot of spaces, which is not good. So I would recommend that you check other resources on how to get your resume done. Like 1 page, you can have some done in LaTeX. You have templates online. Please go look for them and have a very professional one. Yeah, then get your recommenders done. And I think for the recommendation, what you need is your professor's name, his email, for my school, his email, your relationship to them. So if your professor is your boyfriend, that's not the time to say my professor is my boyfriend. Your relationship to them is I'm just joking. Your relationship to them is my supervisor or my lecturer. Write that. Don't write my best friend. Just joking. So you write that, then you write their email and their phone numbers, just in case they have to be contacted. So you did that and you're done. So for fall, by October, by me, you should be done. And by December ending, you should it should have started, like letters would have started, being sent to students who have been offered admission. I think I got mine in December. That I'd gotten admission, I think like 2 weeks after applying, by the grace of God, or some time after applying. It was very quick. I mean, quicker than usual, by the grace of God. So yeah, that was it. Then for funding, when she expects funding, I've heard people say, ask me around August, so for fall students around August, saying that it's January. I've not heard anything from the school. Have I been rejected? Like February, I still not heard anything from them. Have I been rejected? So one thing you should know about Youngstown is, if you've not been rejected, actually funding comes out around May. So for the month of May, for that year that you're coming, you should have gotten funding decision by 15th May. So if after 15th May that year you've not received any funding offer, then that's when you should be worried. But anyway, you don't give up until it's over. You know, who knows? Some people might have to some people might want to drop their offer because they have so many offers, and then you get the chance to be admitted anyway. So you don't give up until it's over. Be very hopeful. Yeah, keep up the hope all the time. So that takes me to my last part, which says when you have so many offers, what do you do? So that would be something I would be sharing in the next video. I mean, the next time I'm doing a video on Youngstown, next video, what you should do when you have so many offers. Because I had how many offers? Maybe like 3 or 5. So why did I choose Youngstown out of the other schools? I have a good reason why I chose Youngstown State, and I've seen the reasons manifest, and I know I made the best decision. I did not, or I will not, and I have not, never ever regretted coming to Youngstown State University, and I'm going to make you aware of the reasons why I chose Youngstown State University. But the very last requirement for Youngstown, you might not like it, is to pray. Yeah. Oh my goodness, okay, my shirt says it. So it's to my shirt. It's to pray. Because, I don't know, maybe it's because I don't have to release this information, so you don't say, okay, the school is like this, the school is like that. But pray, because trust me, it's a lot of people who are applying. People are applying for, what did I just say? Oh my goodness. People are applying, from Ghana. People are applying from Nigeria. I love Nigerians. Nigeria, you have Kenyans. So I'm giving you the kind of people I meet here. Sierra Leone. Then you have other people like Nepal, India, Australia, Bangladesh, like different places. So why you? Something should choose you. It's just like a rule of nature. If maybe 1,000 people are applying, and in the end we may want maybe 30, or let me see, not 30, we actually admit more than that for international students. So let's say we want like 100. Why should you be chosen? So for people of faith, you should pray so that God's will be done. For not getting Youngstown State University does not mean you're a failure. No, it actually means maybe it's not right for you. So, and don't just put in just one application. In my own terms or per experience, even for me, I had more than one. I applied to Youngstown, I applied to Florida State University, Bowling Green, so many. So I'm going to list why I chose here in the next other video, the other schools I applied to. But you should pray, because it's more like a competition, and some have to be selected. Sometimes it's favor, because you can have GRE scores of 320 and might not get funding, and someone with a GRE score of 300 gets funding. So a lot of things come into play. I'm not trying to say if you are very good, you're not gonna get that offer, no. But I'm saying sometimes it comes with your statement of purpose, how good that looks, or how convincing and purposeful it sounds, not just any essay you just wrote anywhere. And your degree plan, if they can help you. So it's not like Youngstown State University is biased. I've heard that people say Youngstown State University is a school for females because the math department have a lot of females compared to males. Okay, so for my batch, yeah, I agree with that statistic. Only for my second, like my year group, we have more graduate teaching assistants females than males, but it does not mean the whole school is biased, because for engineering, for the masters, I don't know any female from Ghana. I know males, so it depends. I don't think it's very gender biased, but it depends on your qualification, and that is why you have to include God in your journey. The word of God says, in all things acknowledge him. In all things, so it includes school application, not just when you want money or you want to be healed, but in school application, include God. In school application, include God. If you don't get it, it does not mean God failed you, because I had some schools that I was rejected. Like rejected. But I'm okay, because I'm still in God's will. So that's what you have to keep in mind. In the end, you're not just going to look for a school that you think has the biggest money. No, but it's purpose, and if the school can help you with your dream. So I hope that was helpful. Stay tuned for the next time. I'm going to talk about Youngstown State, my pride. We are young and proud, but I hope that pride does not lead to our fall. Remain proud as in, I'm going to explain that later, but the girl is tired already. So thank you for watching me today, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel to be updated on the next exciting post. So it's bye from inside, and leave your questions. If you have any questions about the application process, just leave them in the comment section and I'm going to attend to them. And anything you want to know about Youngstown State University, let me know it down there. And thank you for watching. Anytime you hear Youngstown State University, we say young and proud. It's a bye from me.